Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Local Pundit. I'm Josh Anthony. This is your interview with two very special guests on the show today. I'm very excited about this one. I've been watching their content for the last few months, which is great. They have reached 95 episodes on their podcast, 1.25 thousand subscribers, 50,000 downloads, and they're my dedicated match day ref watch source for sure. Every match day I go to them for the ref watch, which is great. The Local Pundit welcomes the two hosts of me, the Wife, and Wrexham AFC Podcast dynamic duo, Ryan and Sean. So welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Hi. Right, very nice to meet you. Thank you all, the two of you there. Thanks for jumping on, and this is great. So, and I know it's in the afternoon for you. It's early for me, work day, but I really appreciate you taking the time. I usually kick it off with an origin story about my guests and people that come on. So. Everyone's interested to hear about yourself, so yeah, I'd love to hear your origin story.
I like origin story. It makes us sound like superheroes. I like that. We've got our own. Yeah. I do like that. Yeah.
Put you at a pedestal to knock you down, right? Yeah.
To be honest, we are two very normal. We're a very maybe not completely normal married couple. From Wrexham, been together since 2010, married since 2013.
Well done, I'm impressed.
Yes, brownie points for that one. Thank you.
Yes, totally.
And so I've been watching Wrexham for years and years and years. And I think 1989 was the first game that I went to. Siân, never interested in football.
No.
Unashamedly so. Thought she was one of these people it's just a game. Why are you getting so excited? It's just a game. And she needed a little push to like football. And as it turned out, that little push was a very beautiful A-list Hollywood actor taking over the local football team. That was the gentle push you needed to get into football, which is bizarre. I don't know how that happens, but
no,
anyway.
Sometimes that's gentle Hollywood star, big celebrity just puts you into something, make you uncomfortable. I like it. That's great.
Yeah. And then so Siân started coming to games just by chance, really, because her brother had a season ticket and he wasn't able to attend quite a few games for a period of time. So Siân felt like she was missing out a little bit. So she decided, I'm going to come along. Now there's a chance of maybe catching a glimpse of Ryan Reynolds at the football. I'll come. Let's have a look. And sorry, I'm painting you in a bad light.
You are, but it is
shallow. So shallow, but it is completely true. Let me just throw that in. Completely true. Yeah,
100% true.
And then she just fell in love with it. Absolutely fell in love with it, and it was just Siân's idea. Why don't we do a podcast? I'm not sure how keen I was when she first came up with the idea, if I'm honest, but...
You love it.
Love it now. Love it. I just love talking, as you can see, because we haven't even really heard a word out of Siân yet. So
this is the story of my life.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Siân. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. I am here.
That's pretty. That's pretty dynamic. Obviously, like you want to spend time with your husband, and my wife wasn't really into football until I came along as well too. What was that like? Transitioning, going from like, oh, should I go with him to a football match? What opened your eyes, other than the gorgeous Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, who's my idol?
Yes.
By the way. Right.
Yes. I think because obviously on a Saturday, Ryan would go to the football with our 12-year-old son and his dad, and I would just be pottering around doing nothing. And I was just like, well, this just isn't fair. So I had a chance to go with the off chance of seeing Rob and Ryan, which I didn't happen to the first game that I went to.
No.
But do you remember the first match you played? Sorry, do you remember who you played first match?
It was, I want to say...
We've been here before, and I'm not sure we can completely remember. Or did we look it up?
We did look it up. I'm sure.
And we've now forgotten.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember. I know it was in September, so it was very early on in the 22-23 season. Was it the 21-22 season?
21-22.
21-22 season. But I kind of, when I went to my first game, I forgot about Rob and Ryan, and I just absolutely loved it. And I've turned into a bit of a hooligan.
No.
Not in a like fighting with people sort of way, but like if the ref does something wrong, I'll shout at the ref, and I kind of get in the zone, which I never thought I would do. I never thought, because I'm quite a girly girl, so I thought football is
for boys.
It's for boys. I mean, I know obviously being PC and everything, it is for girls, but at the time it was just growing up, it was very male orientated. It was the men went to the football, the wives stayed at home and looked after the kids. So I just fell in love with it, and I fell in love with all the players. I completely forgot about Rob and Ryan. Well, I say completely forgot. They were in the back of my mind. But just the first game I went to, fell in love, and I was just like, as awful as it sounds, I was so hopeful that my brother couldn't go to another game, because I was just like, right, I want to go.
Yeah.
So that's my story of how I fell in love with Wrexham.
Yeah.
It's quite infectious, though, like when you go and just get there and everything, everyone's there and everyone's rooting for the same side. Well, mostly for the same side. It is definitely quite infectious. I've never been to the race course yet, but I will get there. So going back to that, like the idea for the podcast was yours rather than Ryan's.
Yeah, weirdly, because I got so into it, I just wanted to talk about it constantly. So I thought, let's do a podcast and just talk nonsense for an hour. Well,
you might talk nonsense, but I talk lots of sense.
But I think as well, because obviously, with the Rob and Ryan thing, we had lots of international fans starting to get interested, and a lot of international fans didn't really know about about British football, because obviously American football is massive over in the States. So I thought it would be great if I gave my perspective of what I think, and then obviously Ryan, because he's been going since like 1989, more knowledgeable stance on it. Although, yeah.
It was like
you gave me that one.
It was like learn. It was.
It's like a learn along podcast, wasn't it?
Sort of. It was like Siân was learning the game. She was learning about Wrexham, and then we had all of these sort of new international fans from all over the world where some were just new to Wrexham, some were new to Wrexham and football, and it just sort of went really well. We had a lot of people getting in touch, sort of going, well, I'm new to football as well, so it's nice. A lot of other, not going to name other podcasts, but if you listen to a topic specific podcast, about something like Wrexham, then usually you'll have a bunch of people, usually male, who have been going for years and years and years, and and that's what you'll usually get. And so we felt that ours was quite unique in the sense of sort of Siân was the USP sort of thing, really. She, we weren't just professing to know everything. It was more of a case of, well, Siân doesn't know everything about Wrexham or about football, but she's going to learn along the way. So come along for the ride and learn along with her. That was our sort of unique idea of doing it, really.
And it's great because it's different. Sorry, right?
Idea. Yeah.
Sorry. It's so great because you're telling stories at the same time. People are growing and feeling more inclusive. And, it's like you said, there's a lot of geezer podcasts out there or shows out there, not just in Wrexham, other ones where like they want to know everything, have huge opinions. But it's like, I think it's indicative of the club and what Ryan and Rob and Humphrey and everyone that's come in has built this like community. So I think there's something that you definitely have touched on. I think it's fantastic. On that, when they did buy the club, what was that like for you guys even before doing the podcast, the town and everything? Obviously, you were going to matches. What did you see the difference after that?
Fans.
Yeah.
Fans.
Lots of fun. No, it was strange because we heard the story, and it was, I think, Siân, you'd seen it on social media.
Yeah.
Siân told me, and I went, don't believe it. absolutely not. It's not true because it was so far from the realms of reality for us. But bearing in mind, sort of 10 years before, we nearly lost the club completely, from bad ownership, and we nearly went out of business. So to go, and I was like, look, it's not true. It would be lovely if it was true, but it's just not. And then as things sort of snowballed a little bit, we were sort of like, oh, it is true. And it was a bizarre, really bizarre time, to be honest, to find out that it was true. And then for it to all go through. And I think the impact was quite instantaneous. I mean, if I go back, not even that long, 6 or 7 years, let's say, I remember me and my dad going to a game. We bought tickets on the day of the game, which, I mean, that's just unthinkable now that you've got no hope of doing that. We then went into the Mould Road stand where we actually sit now, and it was less than half empty, I would say. And you didn't even have to sit where your ticket was. If there was a better seat that was empty, you just moved and sat where you wanted. So, and that's not that long ago. Fast forward a little bit, it's just every seat's full now, barring the odd one or two here and there, which maybe people have bought tickets for but haven't turned up for whatever reason. But generally, it's just completely full, and the atmosphere and everything is just completely different now. Not just at games, but around the town in general.
Yeah.
There's a whole different mood, and you'd sort of argue not a lot has changed around Wrexham, really. But I think it's just a more positive mentality here that, okay, not a lot has changed, but you sort of feel like it could now, which I think that's the biggest difference we've noticed sort of out in the community, that maybe we don't have, we're not particularly set up for tourism very well, even though we are getting a lot of tourists. But it doesn't really seem to matter because everything is slowly coming together, and we're starting to see a sort of shift, really.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, definitely for the positive.
Yes.
And you guys do once a week. Obviously, you guys travel home and away, but do you go to all the matches together, or just do mostly home?
Well, we've got season tickets, so we do go to every single home game, unless Ryan's booked as a holiday, which kind of interferes with the first home game of the season.
I did that once by mistake. Absolutely, completely. So just to explain myself, so the first game, the first game of last season, MK Dons. Really excited to be back in the league for the first time in 15 years. It's like, we really can't miss that. So we were booking a holiday. I said, right, the season starts on the 5th of August. Nothing in August. We need to go in July. So we're all set for the start of the season. And then we were milling around a couple of days, a couple of times. Should we go there? When does our son finish school? All this. So I made sure I booked it in July. Job done, tick. But what I didn't realise is obviously July then runs into August. And then, so I booked it for July, but the day we came back, that was the first game of the season, and we didn't land back in the UK till the evening. So I messed up.
So that one time, but we go to every single home game, and we try to go to away games, but getting tickets like this season has been so difficult getting away tickets, because you're literally on the e-ticketing website and they're gone within 10 seconds. It's ridiculous. So we do try to get tickets, and we do try to go to as many away games as possible, but it's not always doable because of the away tickets are so few tickets, but the demand completely outweighs the allocation of tickets that we've got. So you have to be pretty lucky to get a ticket to go away.
It's one of them. I mean, the way it works for away tickets is season ticket holders get priority, and then it filters down to members, and then they go on general sale. So the average amount of tickets you probably get an away game in League Two were about 1,500, something like that. And if you bear in mind the 7,000 season ticket holders, so there's not many tickets to go around the people. And when a team's playing well, everyone wants to go and watch them.
Yeah.
So it's 1,500 doesn't go into 7,000 very well. So moving up the leagues is good. It's some more. There's some bigger grounds to go to, but not that many. If I'm perfectly honest, there's a few next season that are a decent size. We'll get a decent allocation for, but there's a lot which are around the same size as the racecourse. So. It'll be another next season will be
keep fingers crossed.
It'll be exactly the same. It'll be fingers crossed, and let's just see what we can get. Yeah.
Somebody messaged me before we came on, just still trying to sort out a season ticket. Is that correct? I don't know if that's I don't know if that's true or not. I think it was someone in our chat, because I was like, "What do you want to ask you guys?" So I don't know if that was actually true, but could be wrong.
It's so. No season tickets actually are going on sale anymore. Yeah. So there's no sale. All it is renewals. So everyone is able to renew. If anybody doesn't renew, I'm not sure I know why anybody wouldn't renew. But if somebody didn't, then they would go on general sale. But everyone who has a season ticket at the moment has until mid-May. I'm going to say mid-May to renew.
We've done ours.
Did ours well, as soon as we could. We did it. Just we didn't want to risk that. So
no, and I was supposed to be at the Stockport game. I actually gave my ticket away. Matt Al, do you guys know Matt Al? Yeah, give my ticket.
Yes.
Yeah. So we do live. So we do a halftime show and a full-time show live from the racecourse, and he has been on our lives, and he's commented a few times.
Oh, that's a shame.
Really,
I didn't know he was
really great guy. But I get my ticket away to the Stockport match. The missus and I were supposed to go, but we couldn't make it over. But I don't know if you saw it today or yesterday. They're doing a lot of EPKs and a lot of talking about a 55,000 seater stadium for Racecourse Ground. I don't know if that's possible, but they're looking into doing that. I'd say if you build it, they will come. So hopefully that's something that will be done.
Yeah. There's been a little bit of
negativity.
Yeah, a little bit, but I think
weirdly from opposition fans, that there was something on social media today that a Stockport fan had gone out of their way to write a massive essay about why Wrexham can't make it into. Did you see it?
Yes, it came up in our Discord, and so I was looking at it, I was like, okay, what do you care that much for? But that's what you're going to get.
It's so weird. It's like, what does it? It's just it's so pathetic, honestly. But yeah, I mean,
there's quite a few fans who are sort of like, we don't need over 20,000 seats. With 25,000 max. And we need a training ground before that. We need a stadium that size. I think what people have got to remember a little bit about this is they were asked a hypothetical question, and they gave a hypothetical plan as an answer.
And now it's just been blown up.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not as if they're breaking ground on a 50,000 seater stadium tomorrow. That's. It's one of them things where you go, it's the shoot for the stars, and if you hit the sky, that's really good. And what people have got to remember as well is, League Two, League One, National League, all that. The investment that Ryan and Rob put in is going to be more than adequate. Anything above League One, it just won't. That you need a lot more money than what Rob and Ryan have got. For me, it was a very clever PR. Not stunt, but a PR worded, sort of answer to a question to let everybody know that this is what we are aiming for in 10, 15 years. And by everyone, within that everyone, there are going to be potential future investors in there. So you've got to make yourself look as progressive and as optimistic as possible to any future investor that might be in there. Look, is that ever going to happen? I'm not sure how that can happen in the sort of.
Rob said they've got plans, so look, I trust them both.
Look, it's just a case of we're building one stand at the moment and we can't get that done. So let's just focus on that one, and everyone just needs to calm down a little bit. I think.
Calm down, right? Everyone, calm down for sure. Yes, and on the podcast, like what you guys do. So, by the way, the podcast is great. I think you guys do a fantastic job. I listened myself. I had it on this morning. I watched a bit of it this morning when I was getting prepped for you guys. It's really good. I like it. I like the duo. I think it's awesome. And like it's a little bit different than some other things that are out there. A bunch of geezers and Americans like myself talking about football. How does that? Who's working together like that? Because I worked with my wife as well. What's the dynamic like? Yeah, I know you guys spent some time together, but do you guys find it work or this maybe it's I don't know.
Well, actually, we obviously do the podcast together, but we also work for the same company as well. So we work together at work. We live together at home. We do the podcast together. We
go to the football together.
We do everything together. We're very, very close.
I think it's quite lucky, I think, that we actually like each other.
Yeah, it's a weird marriage.
But weirdly, you say that though. There's plenty of married couples out there who aren't massive fans of spending loads of time together. Do you know what I mean? There's lots of men who would just rather I'm going to spend a couple of hours in the pub. Just to get away from her, but we're not really like that.
I think because we've both got the same sense of humor. We're both. I mean, Ryan's 43 this year. I'm 42, but honestly we're very immature when we're together. Our son cringes at us because we're obviously we're responsible when we need to be responsible, but we do have I am. We do have a laugh together. I mean, I think that's why we get on so well. And I think, I don't think the 14 years that we've been together, I don't think we've had like a massive row.
Not really. Too laid back.
Yeah, like Ryan just lets things go over his head. I'm a bit more, things get to me a little bit more. But yeah, I just think the fact that we are so close and, we are married. But we are, but I'm just saying we're best friends as well.
No.
But not in the, it's a loveless marriage and we're just
I know, not in that way.
Not in that way. We love each other and we are best friends. And I think that's why the podcast works so well because we bounce off each other. I mean, Ryan takes the mick out of me constantly. And if I say something stupid, I won't hear the end of it.
No.
I made a comment a few weeks ago about James McLean, about liking him in any position, and even Sandy, who's the is he a producer?
Welcome to Wrexham.
Yeah, he's a producer of Welcome to Wrexham, and he's interviewed us a couple of times, and he is even cottoned on to because he watches the podcast as well. So even he takes the mick out of me about the James McLean position thing, and it's like, but yeah, I think I digress, but we get on so well, and I think that's why the podcast works, really.
I mean, chemistry, like I said, you guys are married, definitely have chemistry, which is great. Spending time together is fantastic. I'll hit you. We have one of our community questions. This one's from Ruby Slippers, who says hi, by the way. I don't know.
We love Ruby.
Hi. Not to put you on the spot, but who is your favorite Lion King character, Sean?
Who's the one? Simba character.
Yes.
Simba.
Right. Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah.
It is. It is crazy. In 41 years that you've only seen that film once.
and never again. Everybody said to me that I had to watch it. I gave the people what they wanted, and I wasn't overly impressed, if I'm honest.
I mean,
which one did you watch, though? Which one did you watch? Did you watch the newer one or the original?
No. Oh, no, the OG one, the original one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to say Simba. I can't even remember which. Oh no, actually, the weird ones, the two weird animals. I can't. You know what? I can't. That question's really horrible. I can't remember.
Pumba.
Yes, Pumba. Yes, I like Pumba because he's funny.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
There you go. That's my answer, Pumba.
Yeah, that's for Ruby. She's like, ask who that. So I think she's seen it. So, but yeah, and she says hello.
Hello.
I going on to I know last season. Yeah. Going up in the National League, and coming into League Two last year. Do you guys have a favorite moment? Obviously, you guys do mostly going away. Do you guys have favorite moments this season? Obviously, I'll ask you about the show, but on the pitch, you guys something you guys shared. I think you were on the pitch for the when against FGR. Was that correct too?
Yeah. So that I think that's always special when you get to do that. Because
without getting arrested.
Yeah, I know it's really good, and everyone's really excited and really emotional. I think that's a big moment.
Yeah,
it really is. But there was lots of. It was very different to the season before, because the season before there was lots of highs.
Yeah.
We went away to Coventry for the FA Cup game. That was amazing. There was the Notts County game with the Ben Foster penalty save. That was huge. And and to finish the season on 111 points, it was just like week after week. It was win goals. Everything was going on in that season. And then when we moved forward to League Two, we always knew it was going to be difficult, and everything was a lot tighter. And there was the odd game that we played really well. We scored lots of goals, but everything was more difficult last season, and we didn't win as many games. We lost more games. We saw the team lose games at home, which we didn't see at all the season before. So it was a very different type of season, which sort of all culminates in that Forest Green Rovers win, and ending up on the pitch. And I think, if you ask anyone, that's got to be the moment, hasn't it? Because it was the season just gone was a lot more stressful as well. It wasn't just a walk in the park as it sort of was the season before. It was stressful, and it was sort of like that outpouring of emotion right at the end. When you go, actually, we've finally done it. And that was huge.
I felt, though, the fact that we did struggle at the beginning in League Two, the fact that we ended where we ended was just amazing, and I think that made it even more emotional and special, because we did have quite a lot of lows during the season.
Yeah, the start was a struggle.
Yeah,
it was a bit of adjustment, but I think it was a couple of things. It was adjusting to a new league. You're playing against new teams who set up in a different way, who prepare in a different way, and it is a bit of an adjustment to sort of get up to speed with that. And I don't think it really helped that we went on an American tour, which didn't finish until a week before the season started. That was when it was happening. We were all looking at each other going, this is crazy. This is crazy? No, we're literally, it's a week before the season starts and they're still in the States. And it's that is the preparation, that really is.
They've planned it a lot better this year, though, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't think we need to worry. As long as they keep pulling in cotton wool, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
I was at that match. I was maybe 30 yards from where he got hit. I was at, so that's been this year. They have three dates, and they leave tomorrow for Vegas.
Yes,
tomorrow.
Oh, do they? Is it tomorrow?
Yeah,
they leave tomorrow for Vegas. Are you guys going to travel over for any of the matches?
No, because when the Vancouver game's on, we're actually on holiday ourselves.
Yeah.
Another holiday.
Yes. Yeah. But at the right time this time. Yeah. So it's all booked.
Yes.
So yeah, it's strange for us. I do want to do. I don't think the sort of pre-season stuff in America and Canada, and maybe now moving forward in Mexico, is going away anytime soon over the coming years. I think that's here to stay. And I would like to do it at some point. We as a family, we have such a small window for a holiday in the sense of, because there is only me, Shan, and our son, but there's sort of like 4 people in the family, and that's the football as well. So we have a date when our son finishes school, and then we have a date when the season starts. So we have a very small window in the middle, and that window in the middle is usually when the pre-season stuff out in the States is happening. So I think if we were going to do it, because I do really fancy the Vancouver one, but we're on holiday at the time, so it would have to be sort of like forfeit our normal holiday to go and do something like that.
And obviously we'll need to take into, because our son he likes coming to the football. He's got a season ticket. He likes coming to the football, but he's not as into it as we are. So you kind of have to balance, you're spending time with your son and the football. So I think when we go away with our son for a week, when he finishes school for the summer, I think that's kind of the compromise where it's all about him. So I think it might be on the cards. I might send Ryan on his own.
You heard that? Can we clip that and just send me that bit?
Yeah.
Sorry,
if you come,
all
you're more than welcome. If you come down to I'll be at the Chelsea game, and I'll be at the Bournemouth game. So if you come to any of those, love to have you come by.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, by the sounds of it, I am coming on my own.
You're not.
I got an extra bed. All good. Something. I wanted to ask you. And I was going to go back to Parkinson, because there are a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on Parkinson. So, but I was going to ask you about the Mexican team as well. I'll ask you about Parkinson first. What are your thoughts on Parkinson? I hear different things. Like when he came in, some people on our community are sold on him still. I have turned the corner on him, but I want to get your thoughts on Parkinson and how he manages to team it.
I do. I love him. I think he has the way that he's managed. Yes, he's made mistakes. Don't get me wrong. He has made mistakes, but he's just, I don't know. I can't explain it. He's just, I'll try and explain it.
Yeah, I was going to say, give it a go.
I just think, what he's done for the club in the past, since he became manager of Wrexham, I just think it's been amazing. He's made 99% good choices of signings.
Yeah.
It's been the odd one that's been a bit like, I've not really seen the benefit of that one. But I just think it takes him a bit of time, but I think he does listen to what the fans want. And he will try out different things. And like I said, it may take him a long time to kind of come around to that thinking, because he's obviously very set in his managerial ways. But yeah, I love him. I think he's brilliant. I don't know. I can't imagine now there being somebody else taking his place. I'm sure it's going to happen at some point, because unfortunately it does, doesn't it, in football?
Yeah.
But at this moment in time, I just think he's right for the team. And I know some people may shoot me down and say, no, he's not. He's
because of that. I think one of the criticisms Phil tends to come in for is he's very rigid in the way that he sets up. Yeah, sorry, our dog's going nuts. So we'll just he's very rigid in the way that he sets up. He's quite unwilling to change. He leaves it quite late to change, especially when we're chasing a game, all that sort of stuff. And I can see where that comes from. I do see that at times, but I think his record speaks for itself. Especially his record at home is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. The amount of games that he has won, the win percentage, at home, is, it's better than Pep Guardiola's, I think, since he took over at City. It is insane. And I think people are a little bit naive when it comes to the way that football teams set up, especially in the modern game. When you see a starting 11, you will have a very clear formation and setup for a team. But football teams don't play in one specific formation anymore. You'll have a set formation, then you have transition formations when you're attacking, then you'll have transition formations further up the field again. And we do all of that. And that comes from Phil. So he's not just setting up one way and that is it and nothing changes. Your formation tends to be your defensive formation and everything else is transitional. And I think in the past, he has been quite rigid. And sometimes he maybe doesn't make the right choices at the right time. But that's football. I mean, everyone's a football manager when they're sitting on the sidelines and when there's no pressure on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, I think he's been brilliant. And but what does the future hold? Like Sean says, you've got no idea. I've seen plenty of managers. Like if you think back to like Claudio Ranieri, won the league with Leicester. 12 months later, he got the sack. It's impossible to say what's going to happen. But at this moment in time, I don't, he's doing such a good job, and long may it continue. I think
we love him.
And I love him too. He's turned the corner for me. Yeah, the stubbornness for me only comes from just like the late subs. That's it. But I think it's great. For the summertime, I know it's going to be we're going to be connected to every person that ever walked on a football pitch. Have anyone that either of you guys want to sign? Have your eyes on, John, Ryan?
This is more of a question for Ryan, I think, because I'm not very
look,
up to scratch with things like that.
There are lots of players I want. Maybe not all of them are particularly realistic, but I mean, there are a couple. I'll sort of pick out two. For me, there's a player called Con Clark, plays for Altrincham. Excellent young guy, and yes, he is playing in the National League, but so have lots of amazing, great players have played in the National League.
Somewhere.
Yeah, and for me, if I was going to have a list and I was going to separate it out, and part of that list was take a chance on this person, I think he would be one that I'd definitely be looking at. He's really been, standout performer, because I still watch a lot of National League. I know we're not there anymore, but I still do. And I think he's been superb this season. So that for me would be one. And it's the sort of player, I think, as much as we don't want to admit it, we don't have a particularly young squad. We don't really have players that are going to be there for another 5 years. You look at Elliot Lee, late 20s. You look at Paul Mullin, late 20s. They're all turning 30 soon. And realistically, how many more years have they got? You've got no idea. You just don't know. Whereas you look at someone like Max, and Max, has potentially got another, 10, 12 years of playing at Wrexham. You can't say that for everyone. So I think, as some younger players that are in leagues below us, I would say I'd say he's one. One that I've sort of coveted for a while, and I feel sort of bad in a way, because it's sort of like an Ollie Palmer replacement, and that not that I feel that he particularly needs replacing, but it would be Johnson Clark Harris from Peterborough. I think for me, big guy, strong. Scores bucket loads of goals. He's proved himself.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's, this season hasn't quite gone to plan for him. There's been a little bit of unrest. His contract's running down. It's up in the summer. Last summer they put him up for transfer. So I don't think there's complete harmony there. Unfortunately, the rumor I've heard is maybe he's going to Mansfield. So we will wait and see what happens. But there too, there's lots of really good players that their contracts are coming. But out of everyone, they're two that I would really like to keep an eye on.
There's one that's been rumoured, but I don't want them to come to Wrexham, and that is Macaulay Langstaff from Notts County.
Oh, really?
Purely because I'm not doubting that he's a good footballer, but you've got to think who he will be playing alongside, and that would be Mullen. And I think with Mullen, like obviously the Ollie and the Mullen dynamic is brilliant because Ollie is the bigger, stronger, scarier striker, whereas Mullen is the one who, he basically transforms shots into goals. Basically, that's the right way of saying it.
If that's how you want to say it, you say it.
But I just think that
don't need my permission.
No, I just think the Macaulay Langstaff and Mullen. I just don't think it would work. I really don't think that. Not only the height thing, but I don't know. I just don't think it'll work. And
it's not Parky's way of playing. Parky's big man, little man. Always been big man, little man. Front. And
he's proved it this season because he's never played JM or Mulls together. He's always been big and little. Marriott and Mulls, I don't think ever got on the pitch together. Maybe once. I'm not too sure about that, but definitely not gonna. I don't think he's gonna do that too.
No,
it's always Marriott. It's always Mullen off, Marriott on.
Yeah.
And Stephen Fletcher on.
Palmer off, Fletcher on, or Palmer off, Dalby on. That's not going to change. No. And just because we're in League One, I can't see that happening. So, if you were looking to replace Mullen for some reason, because, he had a long-term injury or somebody had come in for him and he decided to leave, Langstaff all day long. I would welcome him with open arms, but with the setup we've currently got, it's just not going to happen. And I think one thing to bear in mind with Wrexham transfers is if you hear about it on social media or from a news outlet like Goal or The Athletic or BBC Sport or CBS or whatever, if you hear about it there, it's not true because Wrexham keep everything in-house and you very rarely hear about what is going to happen before it happens. So if it gets released in the media somewhere or leaked on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, the likelihood is it's not happening. So usually
we will get what's the word, linked with a lot of players. I mean, I'm sure at some point we'll get linked with Haaland or something.
Look, it's already coming, right?
Yeah, the summer's key. The summer is absolutely key. We've got I think we're going to lose 5, 6, 7 players. They're coming to the end of their contract. They probably don't fit into the squad anymore. They're going to go. And I think it all depends now on who we replace them 5, 6 or 7 players with. And it's got to be quality. It doesn't just have to be a body for a body. It's got to be the right people.
Yeah.
And it's got, if you really want to, solidify your place in League One, then you've got to pick the right people. And, we've already, with Sean Harvey sort of there, we will never overpay for a player. We just won't, it won't happen. We've walked away from deals in the past because clubs want too much because of who our owners are. And so we've just gone, okay, fine, we don't want them then.
Yeah.
Which I like.
It's going to be a very interesting summer for sure. And, everyone's like, oh, how are we going to do in League One? It's like, we don't know what the team looks like. So we need to, just kind of pump the brakes a little bit. Everyone's, it comes up on our chats all the time. And, bring it back around. Sean, I know you love Ryan or like Ryan. Have you met him in person? Have you met Rob? Have you guys met Humphrey at all? Have you?
Right. So, firstly, when it was a couple of years ago, I put a tweet because it was our son's birthday, and I put a tweet wishing him happy birthday. And he sent a private video to Alfie, our son, wishing him happy birthday. So that was one thing. But then I think it was last September, he was at the race course, and he always where we sit, it's got the quiet zone for
Stacey,
families.
Yep.
So he always goes down there first, and then he walks up because he goes up the stairs and goes to the director's box. I'm not sure why I'm doing that because you can't see what I'm doing. But anyway, so he walked past us, and we actually had a picture taken with him, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And that was amazing. I just told everyone he smells amazing. I think I had my arm on his lower back, and I was very conscious that my arm didn't go further than his lower back.
We've met Ryan. I've met Humphrey. Shan hasn't met Humphrey,
No,
but I've met Humphrey. But it's just Rob. Rob's the only one we haven't met.
You know what? One of our biggest dreams is to have Rob and Ryan on our podcast. But whether that'll happen, I don't know. I don't know.
Big.
But
we're gonna go to the Premier
exactly,
League.
yeah, exactly.
Why not?
Yeah, dream big.
That's actually a pretty good segue. It's like, what's next for you both, individually, together for the podcast? What do you guys, what's next for you both?
Well, we've got a documentary coming out in this month, is it?
Yeah, it might be this month. I'm not sure. I don't know.
It's basically it's on a channel called S4C, which is basically a Welsh medium channel, which is obviously in the Welsh language. I don't speak any Welsh, so I will be speaking English on it. But Ryan is obviously fluent Welsh, so he will be speaking Welsh. But it's basically about Wrexham. They had a series last season.
Yeah.
We've done a few interviews on the Welcome to Wrexham. Whether they'll be on, we don't know.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of filming on the Welsh documentary that we did.
Yes,
a lot. I mean, they spent whole days with us. And we've done that quite a bit. The Welcome to Wrexham documentary, we've done quite a few interviews on there as well. So that's really exciting. Podcast wise, we've got big plans, and the nice thing about it, we keep trying to add new things. Like Sian said, why don't we start live streaming at halftime during games? And I was like, will anybody watch that? So at halftime comes, and we've started doing that. We get loads of people watching that.
We get loads of subs from it.
And then we're doing the full-time stuff now as well, which is great. And it's nice to connect with people, because when you're doing a podcast, you're just talking to a camera.
Sure.
Whereas when we're doing the lives, people comment and we can talk back to them, and some, and I can walk them around the ground. I'll say, look, should we go and have a look at the stat? I can do all that, if that's what people want. And the nice thing about it, we only started this because we thought it'd be fun, and we've been doing it for nearly 2 years, and it is fun. Don't get me wrong, but now, on top of it being fun, we're actually making money as well. We're not quit your job money, but we're making money, which is nice, because we can put that all back into the podcast as well. Because we did an interview for a radio station, and we've done a few, haven't we, over the sort of last 18 months?
Yeah.
Especially when we got promoted last season, we felt like we were on everything. And then, but somebody asked us for an interview this time. We said yes. It was part of the BBC, and then they kept mentioning a contributor fee. And we were like, What's one of that? And then we got a form through, and we got paid for doing it. We were lit. And I won't say how much we got paid, but we were only on for 4 minutes, and let's just say what we got paid was not proportionate to how long we were actually on there. So it's nice that we're building this up, and we always said that any money we make from this podcast, we would put back into the podcast, be it better equipment, the way we film is a certain way, and we sort of want to change that, buy better microphones, even if it's to help to travel to games so we can do live, so we can do all that sort of, whatever it might be, it's always going to go back in. And it's nice to actually be earning some money to be able to put back in. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's nice. I
think the thing that I like the most, and the thing that I want to obviously keep doing, is we're meeting people that we never, ever would have met. And exactly. Yeah. So it's like, people that we never would have met in normal circumstances, we're meeting all the time. Like we've had people coming over and they've specifically said we want to meet you, and it's like it's so endearing. It's like, but we're just Ryan and Siân. We're not like, you know. But we were at the game on Saturday, the Stockport game, and this little boy walked past me. Ryan was having a beer with my dad and his dad and my brother, so I was sitting on my own. And this little boy just walked past me going, I see your TikToks all the time. I was like, it's so weird. But
it is weird. And people ask for selfies and stuff. And it's like, okay, I mean, why? But okay, that's fine.
Sure.
That's something that I want to continue. I want to meet as many people, whether it is on Zoom or, you know, in person or whatever.
We were in the turf last night, funny enough, with one of our listeners who'd come over, and he was from Michigan. And you know, he was over in Ireland, and he was with a couple of friends, and they brought him over to Wrexham, first time he'd ever been. So we went to meet him, and it's little things like that we love, because, you know, I think you sometimes in life, you go to work, you come home, you eat some food, you watch the TV, and you go to bed, and it can be very repetitive. And it's really nice now that it's a Tuesday night and we're going to meet someone from thousands of miles away who really likes a show that we present, and then we sit and we have a couple of drinks with them for a couple of hours, and then, you know, it's just nice to do this different stuff. I think. I was trying to be really succinct then, and I just went different stuff. But
hit it on the high. I think, you know, like football's like the universal language. We can travel the world and be like, who do you support? And like automatically right there, you know, we're in Italy, England, wherever. I think it's Wales. I think it's so great. And you know, I'm so grateful for you two to come on, and I'm so happy for what you guys are doing. I think it's amazing. Long may it continue, and I'll be watching. And please keep up the Ref Watch source for me personally, because I need that in my life.
By the way. That's me.
Thank you so much.
Everybody thinks it's Ryan because it's me, the wife from Wrexham AFC. They think that all the social media is Ryan. But it's all me.
It's funny because we get messages come through, and they are clearly direct messages that they clearly think they're talking to me. They clearly, all of these messages, Siân has even taken to replying as if she is me as well, because at first she was like, no, it's Siân, I do the social media and all this. And I think she sort of give up on that a little bit and gone, I'm just going to reply as Ryan. That's fine. I'll just deal with that.
But I will definitely keep a Ref Watch.
Yes.
Awesome. As long as someone doesn't start talking in the third person, I think we're okay with that, right? You know, like that's great. You guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on your time. And like I said, I'm so happy for you guys, and long may it continue. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And we'll hopefully do it again, and onward to the summer.
Yes.
That's Ryan and Siân, me, the wife from Wrexham at AFC Podcast. That's fantastic. So thank you.